cannot be repaired.
First of all, you're an idiot because you care about anything Bari Weiss says. So already you're a complete fucking moron, right? And then on top of that, you want her to apologize to you? I mean...
My time.
I saw something from... Who's that fucking... who's Eric Weinstein's brother? What's his name? What's it? His wife's name's Heather Hying or something. I always confuse them because Heather Hying, and I think Heather Heyer was the woman who was ran over at Charlottesville, which isn't funny. I don't know why I'm laughing. And then it's Bret Weinstein. Yeah, his wife is Heather, and they have like the most. I've never seen like a more pseudo-intellectual conversation in my life about sort of they're so-called experts on everything, but it feels like you're being cornered in the break room of a community college. You're some sort of history professor and you see this guy walk in as you're getting your sandwich out of the refrigerator and you go, oh Christ. And he just sort of corners you and starts talking your ear off about whatever he thinks he's an expert on. And his wife's hilarious. I can't remember if it's Heather Hying or Heather Hying. It always makes me laugh because I think about that woman being run over at Charlottesville, which isn't funny. But actually, I guess we could watch some of that. Because apparently they're calling out like Bari Weiss and stuff, which is kind of hilarious. I think they call their podcast now like Podcastistan or something. Now, as promised, let's check out our old pals Bret Weinstein, see what he's up to. Of course, his personality is awful, his content is retarded, he sucks. Not saying he's not right about a lot or right about this or right about that. It's just, these are the most insufferable people on the planet. Even if they were right about everything, I wouldn't listen to a single word they are saying. I think if you are a college professor, perhaps that's all you should do. Maybe you shouldn't be on podcasts being an expert on everything. They always deem themselves on experts about literally every single issue. I thought the word like a Renaissance man was delegated to like actual geniuses, like Da Vinci or something. But these guys, they're experts in science, in physics, in economics, and everything. And everything. If someone's talking about something, Lord knows they'll step in front of the camera, so eyes are all turned on them. But it's because they're an expert. Now, I'm going to search this on Twitter because I'm not seeing it on YouTube. This clip I saw where they talk about how they're in Podcastistan. That's what they called it, which was very cringe as usual. From the DarkHorse Podcast. Here it is. They talk about Douglas Murray on Bill Maher. Here it is. Bret Weinstein on Douglas Murray and the anti-Semitism takeover.
Alarming evidence that whoever they are, they've taken some more hostages.
Oh, no.
Ooh.
Yes.
Who is
Wow.
it?
Very troubling. Well, I wanted to talk a bit about Douglas Murray, who is...
He took hostages or he's been taken?
No. Apparently he's been taken hostage based on some of the things that he's been saying. And I will say, as I've said before about others, Douglas Murray's a friend of mine, and that's part of why I'm concerned.
So this is what I'm kind of saying, by the way. Let me check the shot on YouTube. Let me see how it looks. I still haven't got this whole thing dialed because I got the lighting look. I like the way the lighting is for me, but then the TV doesn't look good. I should have got a really expensive TV that has a matte finish on it, which is a very specialized thing, which I don't have. What little money I had, I used to start this. Actually, that doesn't look bad. It's flickering a little bit. I like that. Hey, God bless America. There we go. Well, everybody on YouTube is saying Bert Kreischer died. Man, that fucking sucks, man. Damn, Bert Kreischer died. According to YouTube, Bert Kreischer's dead. May he rest in his own piss. Okay, so this is Bret Weinstein and Heather Hying.
Out the strange noises that he has been making. Let's see. Why don't we start with the clip on him on Bill Maher's program of Douglas Murray? I think this was.
Are these really people
Friday.
that you'd want to spend time with?
Always interesting to
How
see
could
what
you
happens
listen to
with
a 3-hour podcast with these two? This is the guy that confronts you at Panera Bread. Hi, I noticed in the parking lot, you drove the Subaru, right? I noticed that you kind of are close to, maybe that kind of guy. He's like a put your shopping cart back kind of guy. He's the actually guy. He sucks. He stinks.
Point of victory. What do you do with your victory? And if those people on the American right who are now in the ascendant, if they decide that they want to use their point of victory to, for instance, lie about the origins of the Russia-Ukraine war, or lie about the nature of Hamas, or lie about the state of Israel, or lie about history. I mean, the reason I did this pushback was, I mean, you just have to. I mean, you just have to, in my view. It's basic social hygiene. If you've got somebody who's coming along who pretends to be a historian, who then can always do the thing of saying, oh, I actually don't call myself a historian, it's just other people I allow to call me a historian. I'm not a car mechanic, but if I kept on being introduced as a car mechanic, I would say, oh, no, you got the wrong guy. So they don't mind it. They don't mind it. They have this slip out.
By the way, if you guys don't know who Douglas Murray is, he's like this, he's this Make-A-Wish kid from Britain, and he's dying of AIDS and Down syndrome disease, and he wanted to go on Joe Rogan and talk about Israel, so they let him do it, but he made a whole mess of it. He has many issues, but he's under the spotlight right now. That's who he is. That's his background.
People that I was trying
Douglas
to call
Murray,
out
everybody,
on Joe's show,
dying of Down syndrome disease and
they are
AIDS.
doing things
Take
like
it away.
Hitler wasn't that much of an anti-Semite. Main problem in the 20th century was Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill was the warmonger. Adolf Hitler wanted peace. And I just, look, it's a matter of social hygiene. Don't feed me this shit. And this is all... And there's obviously this crossover between the people who are just trolls. They say this because they think it's really fun.
Look at these.
The Jewish
They're
question,
lurking like
to do
rats.
Like a bit of Holocaust denial, a bit of Hitler.
They're the rats who watch. I'm the rats who watch.
Praise, a bit of Churchill degradation. They think it's kind of funny. What they're watering and what's going to come up underneath them are going to be people who believe this rot. And a lot of people, you can clearly see on the right at the moment, are very happy if you can denigrate the tradition of Winston Churchill and pretend that Adolf Hitler wasn't so bad, because then you can do things like Christian nationalism. You can do really, really tough nationalist stuff. They basically
You can buy Kanye albums.
That's the last stage.
Bill, yeah, I went there. I'm a fucking comedian, okay? That's what I do on this show. I make jokes. If that pisses you off, I'm a fucking comedian, okay?
That's like the ultimate. After
I piss on black whores, all right? There is no God. I'm a fucking comedian.
they've absolved Adolf Hitler, they want to absolve Kanye, and then they're going to get to the point of hell.
Well, it's a great book. Everybody should read it. Thank you.
All right. So,
by the way, Real Time with Bill Maher right now. He's on a hot one. He's having on he's having on Kyle Rittenhouse doing like shootouts and shit. He's having on Kyle Rittenhouse. He's like shooting soda cans off of a fence and stuff. He's having on Steve Bannon. He's having on Charlie Kirk. He loves Trump now. He went and had dinner with Trump. He can't shut the fuck up about how much he loves Trump. It's very funny. I'm a fucking all right. Okay. I'm a fucking comedian. I'm a pedophile. If you have a problem with that, I'm a fucking comedian. I love Joseph Stalin. If you have a fucking problem with that, I'm a fucking comedian. I lure black hookers into the woods and I cut their heads off. And if you have a problem with that, I'm a fucking comedian.
he says a lot of things in there. Some of them are quite reasonable. But the problem is where he is headed with this line of reasoning, which we can find.
Because Bret's a big fan of, and by the way, Douglas Murray's these are retards reviewing retards. It's a turd that took a drink of piss and is now giving you its review. That's what this is. Turd reviews crap, piss reviews turd. That's what all of online content is. It's a turd that took a shit and is talking about the shit it took. Here we go.
Actually, in an article that he...
But Bret, here we go. Here's Bret with the pre-crime thought. Here we are. Condemn him before he even says the thing that he said, even though he is a retard. And I do agree. Bret, you are a genius. Please enlighten us.
Wrote that was in the New York Post. So you want to put up that article and... Okay, so Douglas Murray, so-called Israel-Hamas-Ukraine war experts spew false info on Joe Rogan's podcast. There has to be a standard. Now, presumably he didn't write that title, but here's how this article concludes.
Yeah, it's too low.
These are his words now. He says, what the standards are in the new media, especially on podcasts, is still being worked out.
Much better.
But there must be some.
There must be
Otherwise, the new media will lead people into errors and evils far greater than the old media could ever dream of.
Yeah, I mean, he's talking about the tech oligarchs and what they'll control. And I mean, I'm sure Bret and Heather are getting to the bottom of it. Let's see.
Not only his own values at such a profound level, but values that are actually not just central to, but maybe the central values of the West, which Douglas Murray has been a strident champion of since long before most knew that it was even in jeopardy.
Yes.
Raises some alarm. What is going on with Douglas that suddenly he's ready to make an anti-free speech argument like this?
All you guys eventually start making an anti-free speech argument. All of you guys do. You know, I know that because you guys push one side or the other, and everything ends up happening the same way time and time again, no matter who is office. It swings from one way to the other. You guys are the voice of this group, and this group is and these people are the voice of this group, and no matter who wins, it swings each way. Every 8 years, the same thing keeps happening over and over and over again. So whatever you claim one side wants, you probably want too. I'm always assuming that. I'm always paranoid of that. Because these people have a seat at the table. These people have a seat at, all the big media outlets and all the big forms of alternative media now. They all have influence in those spaces. And they're all very, very like pick me, very wary of other newcomers, very wary of this person or that person. They all, eat each other alive. They come together. I mean, in this clip, he starts going against. Let me show you. Wait, where the hell did in this clip, I have a timestamp here. He starts taking the piss out of Bari Weiss because he's still talking about COVID. Again, the people that listen to the show, and it's a big show, these are the type of people who cannot stop talking about COVID. Seriously. They're still talking about spike proteins and ivermectin, and I get it. It was a crazy time. Everybody that was saying that was wary of the vaccine, anybody that was saying this virus came from a lab and this, that, and the other, and that Fauci should be in prison, I realized that they were all put on a cross. There was witch hunts for people. The media tried to smear people. I get that. That was 5 years ago. Please move the fuck on. Please, you're the insane guy at dinner who can't stop talking about his ex. You're the insane guy who can't stop talking about some traumatic thing that happened to him. It was 5 years ago. You guys are all crybabies. You're the biggest crybabies there is. In like Cat Turd, that guy, he's crying online about how he's not making as much money on X. They're all crybabies. Jordan Peterson, the biggest crybaby there is. It's all pissing in your diaper. And then the media, they wrote this article about me. They said this, those fucking bastards. Okay, it's words on a screen. Be a fucking man. Be a man. You're on the internet. Understand, if you are a public figure, understand the risk that goes into that. Understand that if you are on a giant platform with millions and millions of eyes, there are going to be a minority or a majority of people that don't like that and voice their opinion. Stop being such crybabies. You guys got hailed. You guys got nailed hard during COVID by the media, and you can't shut up about it. You can't let it go. Move on. No one cares. Shut the fuck up. Well, I said this about trans people and the articles that were posted about me. Grow up. Move on. Jesus Christ. Have you faced no adversity in your life up till 2020? The media, the media, it's crazy, and they do this and they do that. And liberals and the woke, they're talking about woke in this clip. Right before this, they talk about woke. They can't shut the fuck up about it. They can't shut the fuck up about how crazy liberals were, how they were victimized during those times. They're eternal victim crybaby bitches. They got no balls. They have no nerves of steel. They have no. Where is your? Do you have any sort of spirit? Is your spirit that brittle that you keep talking about something that happened to you 5 years ago? Move on. Move on, Bret and Heather. Move the fuck on. Stop talking about woke and stop talking about COVID. I'm going to play this clip now and let you guys know.
Take another friend to task. Bari, you owe us an apology. You do. You got COVID wrong. We had it right. That's now obvious.
Now they're saying you owe me an apology. Bari Weiss, which Bari Weiss is a little piglet that sucks at the teat of Palantir now. If you guys are paying attention at all, she's in Austin doing Ring Around the Rosie with Alex Karp and everybody else, and saying that Bari Weiss is sharing all this stuff that, there's a lot of anti-Semitic podcasts out there, and the reason they're saying anti-Semitic stuff is because there's millions and millions and millions of dollars in it, which is hilarious. The idea that shows that are hypercritical of Israel are doing it for the sort of mainstream appeal and access and money. It's very funny. Yeah, man, I started an anti-Semitic podcast, and Spotify started knocking on my door. I'm making millions of dollars talking shit about the Zogs. Last I checked, everybody that was going really hard on that stuff were being debanked. So now what they're doing is they're going after Bari Weiss and demanding that Bari apologizes to these two for, I guess, saying they were wrong about COVID initially.
Hypocrisy.
It is the worst kind of hypocrisy. And
yes,
look, to take another friend to task.
Wow.
Bari,
go!
you owe us an apology.
Yes!
You do. You got COVID wrong. We had it right. That's now obvious. And so you can't take the Wild West podcast and shove them out of the way for your new institution. I mean, frankly,
take a friend to task over COVID. Oh my God, you people are such fucking losers. You should have never left the shitty college that you taught at. You're an eternal break room loser. You're a Monday morning quarterbacking piece of shit who thinks he knows everything. You're a fucking moron. It's that graft of the idiot on the right and the wise sage on the right, and then the guy with Down syndrome on the left, and it's an IQ chart, and then the guy in the middle who thinks he's a genius. That's you. That's you, bitch. That's you, Bret and Heather. That's you. That's you. It's much better to be retarded. Come to the left with me. Come to the left. Drink some Drano. Huff some gasoline fumes. Do whatever you gotta do. Put one through your head. Do whatever you gotta do, Bret and Heather, to come over to the low IQ side of the graph. You got to come over to this side because no one wants to be in the middle. Have the ability to have an extreme within your soul. There are very, 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 very smart people from the past. Many of them are dead There are very few alive today that I know about. Come over to the retard side. Stop doing this. Stop saying someone needs to apologize for their opinion about COVID. Something 5 years ago.
Other friend to task. Bari?
Okay, so this is something I want to point out too. The way Heather, because she's ride or die with Bret. This is true romance right here. Ride or die. Heather's riding or dying with Bret. Here's Heather.
To take another friend to task.
She smiles like, that's my man in shining armor. And Bret's like, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. Heather, would you let a YN speak on this shit real quick? Because this motherfucking Bari been speaking out of turn. You heard? What if they become black Israelites? What if they start wearing like do-rags and shit? Do-rags and they dress like the Knights of Templar for some reason. They start speaking in Ave. That would be a fun twist and a turn for them. Just smiling like that's my man in shining armor. That's him.
Bari, you owe us an apology. You do. You got COVID wrong. We had it right. That's now obvious. And so you can't take the Wild West podcast and shove them out of the way for your new institution. I mean, frankly, just like Quillette. Bari demonstrated.
Yep.
Part of what she was about,
yep.
She was exactly right.
Yep.
Right? What Bari used to say was, these institutions cannot be repaired.
First of all, you're an idiot because you care about anything Bari Weiss says. So already you're a complete fucking moron, right? And then on top of that, you want her to apologize to you? I mean, these people, they have miserable, miserable lives.
We are going to have to build parallel ones. That's what she used to say. And she was right, and she did it.
There's no way these two have kids, by the way. There's no way in hell. There's no way in hell these two have children, and they're this miserable and petty and this boring. There's no way, right? They're not reading articles about, like, COVID science in 2025. They have children, surely? If so, CPS should be knocking on their door immediately.
Able to build an institution, just like Claire Lehman before her. Right? They built parallel institutions that had potential, but those institutions were not founded around the basic principle of following the truth wherever it may lead. The evidence tells you what is right. Predictive power is the answer. And at the point you've gotten something wrong, like COVID, you can't just find the middle ground and slap both sides and become the new institution. You don't have the recipe for figuring out what's true. And so, I don't know. I'm hoping that all of these people who at one point seemed to see the correct direction to be heading and seemed to understand how broken the institutions were will understand that as much as you may not like it, that lots of ideas are going to be discussed on Joe Rogan and lots of guests who have some perspective that you are certain is wrong and you may be correct in that. The answer is that's how we figure it out. And I will point out,
I have to lean on my forehead to make it through one of their podcasts. Like I have to
Bill Maher. Douglas Murray says something about,
sources cited. Yeah, I got a source for you. How about you drink right from the source, Bret? How about you drink right from the source? I'm sorry if you're fans of them or whatever. I'm just talking shit. Sorry, I saw people mad in the Discord or whatever. They did have children. Okay, good. Yeah, they're older now. This is an empty bird, empty nest syndrome sort of thing, I guess. If you're reading articles about like spike proteins now, I mean, just pray every night that you don't wake up in the morning. If that's your life. If that's your life, pray just go to bed and say, "Dear God, please kill me in my sleep. Please let there be a rapture of some kind. Please let me go up in a big fluffy cloud and play a flute so I can stop reading about spike proteins."
My chain. Don't you like my chain?